So we're talking about a player who has 29 career starts and completed 20 passes in a game twice last year. The Niners are paying him like it, but are you, president of the 49ers fan club, are you convinced that Cap will be your team's next great quarterback?
I'm not convinced. I'm hopeful, obviously. I've seen some signs that indicate he could be, but it's just so early in the process. On one end, I think that the 49ers definitely benefited from him being a second-round pick and being able to kind of hold off on giving him this kind of contract, despite clearly this is, I'll say this, I mean, for all the early criticism of this contract, the fact that the Ravens PR, or rather the Ravens Twitter handle,
yeah.
you know, they're tweeting out like, oh, you guys said Joe Flacco is the most overpaid quarterback. Well, here's the most overpaid quarterback, indicating it was Kaepernick. This is a booby trap contract in every sense of the word, just as you pointed out. And for that matter, it feels like the 49ers are thinking what I am, which is we like what we see. The tools are there. He's growing steadily, but yet we have to protect ourselves by, if he's not the guy, if he's not the next great San Francisco quarterback, then we have a way to get out of this. And people have to understand what that is. You're talking about Steve Young, you know, certainly one of your favorite quarterbacks, if not your favorite, Joe Montana. That means that with this kind of money, what it says is that, dude, you got to deliver a Super Bowl. Like, it's great that you've been to the NFC title.
It says that they have to deliver a Super Bowl.
No,
that's what I was getting at.
Not
the
what
standard
that
in
says.
San Francisco.
Not what it says.
But see what I'm saying, though. Listen to what I'm saying. The standard in San Francisco, you know it better than anybody, is Super Bowls, right?
Exactly.
As long as he's playing under Trent Baalke and Jed York and Jim Harbaugh, they're going to put him in a position to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have to put up Steve Young type numbers or Joe Montana type numbers.
Which is why I'm not concerned about him not throwing over 20 passes. The fact is that the team's too balanced. If he has to throw for over 20 passes, something's gone wrong.
But they are going to put him in that position. I mean, listen, look at the receivers he gets to throw to this year, speaking of throwing passes.
Oh, yes.
I mean, Stevie Johnson and Brandon Lloyd are fighting for the third spot, okay, behind Michael Crabtree and Anquan Bolden. We know about Vernon Davis, who, once again, we'll have on the show later on. He's got a lot of weapons. They got, 5, 6, 7 running backs deep? I mean, poor Frank Gore keeps seeing running backs get drafted every year. They just drafted Carlos Hyde. They still got Kendall Hunter sitting behind him. We know about the offensive line and the defense. He just has to keep getting better. Yeah. And that's saying something, given that since his first start, you know, he's a third highest rated quarterback in terms of total QBR behind Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers, okay? And if you want to go to the postseason, he has the highest postseason total QBR among quarterbacks with at least 3 playoff starts since the total QBR era, which goes back to 2006. But the boy is good.
Yeah,
he's got all the potential in the world.
But really, there's only one number that matters. 1-3, 3 touchdowns, 7 interceptions against who?
Oh, yeah.
Seattle.
Well, he's good when he plays everybody else.
So, but Seattle is now the standard because they're the Super Bowl champion.
If he doesn't test Richard Sherman, though, I know it's
if he throws a better ball.
There you go. Fine.
Okay.
Either way you want to say it. He could be back in the Super Bowl for a second straight year, and maybe they wax Denver instead of Seattle. We could be having a whole different conversation. This was a good investment. You mentioned all the different outs that they can protect themselves in case of injury or whether he declines in skills. All that does is give him incentive to maximize potential and do what Steve Young talked about, which is get better from throwing from the pocket so you can protect yourself and just be a better overall quarterback.
And I like how they structured it, because when I heard the initial figures, I was like, oh my goodness.
Right.
Because usually, you know, and we'll talk about this next, you pay the quarterback, something else is going to have to give.
All right. Are you convinced Colin Kaepernick will be the next great Niners QB? I am. Jamel is not. The numbers agree with me because including postseason, Kaepernick has made 29 career starts. Compared to Joe Montana at this point in his career, you know, that's trouble when you start bringing up Montana. Kaepernick has more wins, his team has more wins, more touchdown passes, fewer interceptions, and has averaged more yards per pass attempt. Of course, Montana had a ring.
I was going to bring that up, but that's okay.
Pretty early on.
I'll let the numbers live.
You know how many quarterbacks they've gone through since Steve Young to now?
A lot.
12. Garcia had a good run.
Oof.